final series is upon us, and so today I'm going to do my tips for the first week of the final series. First up, we have Hawthorn and Sydney playing each other at the MCG. Last week, Hawthorn defeated Sydney at their home ground by 12 points. Obviously, Sydney went down to them at ANZ Stadium. Overall, Hawthorn have won 3 of the last 5 games against Sydney, and they won against them earlier in the year at the MCG, quite emphatically, winning by 37 points. Franklin won't play, but I don't think that really matters. They generally play better without him anyway. Sydney traditionally don't play too well at the MCG, but they certainly made that step pretty glum when they won the premiership against the Hawks. I think the Hawks will be keen to assert themselves as the best team in the competition, especially against one of the top teams and the team that denied them the flag in 2012. I'm going to go the Hawks by 25 points. Geelong hosts Fremantle at Simmons Stadium on the Saturday afternoon. I'm actually going to this game, so I'm pretty pumped for that. Last week, Geelong got over the line against Brisbane by 1 point. Didn't really deserve that game, or the victory really. Brisbane played a lot better and they wanted it. But it was a bit of a dead rubber game for Geelong because they had nothing to play for, and Brisbane had a finals chance. So I expected Brisbane to make a fair challenge, but not that much. Anyway, meanwhile, Fremantle rested about 12 of their players, or basically half their side, and they pretty much got thumped by the Saints in the end by 71 points. The last clash between these two sides saw Geelong out Fremantling Fremantle, if that's even possible, at Simmons Stadium, winning in the end by 41 points. It's a tough game to pick. Fremantle will want to make their mark against Geelong like it did in the final last year. And to a degree, I could almost see an upset boil over at Simmons Stadium based on Geelong's lacklustre performance last week. But then again, I think the Cats will be pretty keen to get a week off. But it's a 50-50 game. However, I'm going to tip the Cats by 10 points. Port Adelaide go to the MCG to play Collingwood in a rare game of the MCG on the Saturday night. Last week, Port Adelaide choked like no tomorrow. They went down to Carlton by a point, which was just about an unlosable game. And Collingwood couldn't keep up with the Kangaroos, and they also had a surprising loss there, losing by 11 points. The last time these sides went up against each other, it was Port Adelaide showing Collingwood how to do it at Amy Stadium, winning by 35 points. I'd tip Collingwood based on the fact that it's at the MCG, but you certainly can't rule Port out. They've been quite resilient this year, and they have challenged some teams in Melbourne. They thrashed Melbourne in the first round of the year, which was, I don't know if it was surprising or not, but still there's a win there. They defeated the Saints at Etihad, which was alright. They've challenged Carlton and Essendon respectively in Melbourne, so there's something to think about, and they're probably around about where Collingwood are as well, so something to consider. However, I'm going to tip Collingwood by 18 points. The last game of the first round of the final series is Richmond and Carlton fighting it out at the MCG. Last week, Carlton came back miraculously against Port and won by a point. And Richmond did enough against Essendon, and they disposed of them by 39 points. And the last time these sides encountered, it was only a few weeks ago, and Carlton showed the Tigers that they still know how to defeat them, and they won by 10 points. In round 1, I tipped Carlton. Richmond decided to win. And only a few weeks ago I tipped Richmond. They seem to be in good form, but Carlton won. So it's tough to get it right sometimes. I think since 2008, the start of 2008, Richmond have only defeated them once. It might have been round 1 of 2008 they won, and only at the start of this year they decided to get a win against Carlton. Carlton are just a side that has the potential to play so well, and I mean, they do. I mean, last week they did a pretty good job against Port. Going back from behind it, away from home is always tough. But they just don't apply themselves every week. They've been so inconsistent, and I don't think they actually deserve a final spot based off that. And the Tigers also have spades of inconsistency as well, which is also worrying, and which is what makes this game so tough to tip. Everyone's going to be tipping Richmond, so I'm going to go try and tip the upset here, and I think Carlton will get up on this occasion. But I won't be surprised if they disappoint me. I'm going to tip Carlton by 6 points. So those are my tips for the first round of the final series. Feel free to comment your tips for this first round. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.